We help each other out. But when it comes to stuff like this, emotional shit, it's like no one thinks anyone wants to hear about it. I keep thinking how desperate he must have been at the end. And how we could have stopped it. Maybe. If he'd said something to someone. It's got to change, Ollie said. And he hated how his voice shook a little. But that too was part of the problem. Being afraid what people might think if you showed any kind of emotion other than sarcasm or humour. Hell, even anger and swearing were acceptable in men. But other emotions like sadness and fear, they were for women. I was thinking only last night, Ollie continued, that we've made an art form out of insulting each other. Look how we always greet someone when we see them. Hey, dickhead. Geez, you packing on the weight? Ollie gave a self-deprecating grunt. No wonder these backpackers look at us weird when they first come here. Who speaks to their mates like that? Yeah, but come on, Ollie, that's the whole point. They're your mates. The meaner the insult, the more you like 'em. That's what I mean. It's become a culture of putting each other down. You're supposed to be tough enough, thick-skinned enough to take the worst insult anyone can throw at you. Only what about when you're feeling really crappy? That night I saw Luke at the pub. The last time I saw him, I could tell he wasn't himself. But he couldn't have sat down and brought up whatever was going on with a table full of blokes who would have called him a pussy and handed him another beer till he got over his mood. It's not good enough. A thoughtful silence followed, and Ollie realised it felt good to get that out in the open. Maybe you've got a point, Griffin said slowly. I've been guilty in the past of brushing off someone who's down in the mouth as feeling sorry for themselves. He shrugged. I suppose we could take it a bit easier on the ribbon. Like you said, it's how it's always been. It's going to take time to change the way we do things. Well, I'm proud of both my boys, Olivia said, leaning over to kiss her fiancé, before smiling at Ollie. If anyone can make a difference, it's you two. Ollie sat back later that night, stretching his hands over his head. It had been a long day, but he'd managed to achieve a lot. Hadley had released a few more of the photos she'd taken, and interest in the Facebook page was growing at an alarming rate. For the first time since he'd heard about Luke's death, he felt the helplessness that had been twisting around inside his gut begin to loosen. If they could change the world for just one person, if they could get one person to ask for help, then it'd make all this worthwhile. He had to believe it would. Over the next few days, Hadley and Olivia, who had been dragged on board to help, were inundated with interest about the Dare to Bear Facebook page. Photos came pouring in, more than they could ever possibly use, and the media had begun to take notice. The high tea fiasco had faded into oblivion as this new, even more outrageous story came to light. Hadley bit back a grin as she passed some older women in town who were in the middle of expressing their outrage at the photos of that Dawson boy. She felt the heavy weight of their combined stares on her back, but she didn't turn around. So when do we get a copy of this famous nudie calendar I saw on Facebook last night? Asked Peg, the woman working on the cash register in the local store. As soon as we can get them designed and printed. Hadley smiled. Actually, I wanted to ask if you'd be interested in selling a few for us in here, at the shop. Happy to. I really like what you're all doing. The naked men are just an added bonus.
Well, they're not all going to be men.